Okay, go.
Alrighty, welcome to what is going to be a Guinness World Record unofficially for the quickest scope mounting ever. You see, I've got a range session. In about 45 minutes, I need to put a new optic on the rifle. Now, what you have on that rifle behind me is the Razor LHT, and as you know, if you've been a fan of the channel, for the longest time I've been a fan of this, the Vortex Strike Eagle. This was for me a freaking game changer when it just came out. 34mm tube, 5-25, absolutely awesome, packed with features, lockable turrets, lockable windage turret too, freaking awesome, throw lever, just a phenomenal value for money optic. Now, that's old news, because there's a new baby brother, the Strike Eagle first focal plane 3-18. Now, if you're an OG subscriber on the channel, you guys will remember I shot my 223 Remington for the longest time with the, I think it was a 3-15 PST Gen 2 that we had on there. Now, if you haven't seen the video of the freaking abuse that I put that 3-15 through, let's see what we got. And we're just gonna chuck it out the window. I threw it out my car window doing something like 70 kilometers per hour, still shot it out to 800 meters. Absolutely phenomenal. I'll link that video for you guys at the end. But this weekend, tomorrow, and hence I have to get to the range like now, I'm going to be shooting this 3-18 Strike Eagle first focal plane. It's 18 power, so it's a little bit less than a 25, but for the most part, when we're shooting these competitions, I'm shooting on about 15-18 anyway. So is this the perfect precision rifle optic for sort of the budget-friendly consumer? I don't know, let's find out. So I'm gonna quickly pop this on my rifle, then head out, zero my rifle. Tomorrow we're gonna shoot the whole match, and then after the whole situation, I'm gonna give us the proper specs of this, give you guys some of the things that I like, some of the things that I don't like about it, and then give you a decision. What should you do? Should you get the 5-25 or should you get the 3-18? I don't know, lots of questions to answer in this video. So without further ado, I'm gonna pop this on. Okay, and just like that, we have our scope mounted, rifle is ready to go zero. I'm gonna shoot the match tomorrow. It should be a ton of fun. I'm gonna revert back, talk you guys through some of the things you should be aware of when you're looking at picking up this optic. Again, pros and cons, and then compare it ultimately to its bigger brother, this guy, and then maybe what type of rifle this is for, and go through some of the finer details. I'm gonna give you a small montage of the match. The match video is going to be its own full standalone video, so make sure you're subscribed if you want to see that. It's going to be absolutely cool. Again, I'm running the XRS chassis from MDT. I was just kind of in a budget mood with the ground pod, and just pretend that this is like a Howa or something and not a custom action for the sake of the video, because we don't want the facts to spoil a good story, right? Anyway, I'll see you guys after the match. So guys, our match is in the books. It was very challenging. The conditions made it tough. There was a storm that moved in. We had 35 kilometer per hour winds gusting above that. Icy cold. And if you listen to my voice, you can actually tell I'm a little bit congested. Now, the 3-18 Strike Eagle performed flawlessly. And some would even say that I put myself at a disadvantage when I do tests like this. You know, I take off the highest end Gen 3 Razor and I put on something more budget friendly, and I try and compete at the highest level. Now, I was very fortunate to have a fantastic on fire day with my shooting and my wind calls and everything was right, and I ended up winning the match, which I was super stoked for.
with a budget-friendly optic. Now I'm going to do a few quick comparisons because that's what we said we were going to do in the beginning of the video, and quickly compare it to some of the features and the things with regards to its bigger brother, the 5-25 strike eagle. Now both of these are first focal plane optics, and you get the EBR-7C reticle, which is actually the Vortex reticle that I most prefer. And I've said this before, where I prefer the EBR-7C reticle over the new EBR-7D reticle that's in the Gen 3 Razor. Now the 3-18 is actually a 6 times magnification scope. So 3-18, that means it's a 6 times optical zoom. So on 3, when you go to 18 power, you will be 6 times closer, or the image will be 6 times larger. And on the 5-25, some basic math tells us that that is a 5 times magnification optic. Now both of these are first focal plane, both of them are illuminated, both of them have the EBR-7C reticle, both of them come with the sunshade and a throw lever. Now the throw lever is actually something, by the way, this rifle is obviously safe, so I am resting my elbow on this. The throw lever is something that I actually should have put on the optic, and it's still lying over here, and that would have helped me a little bit in this match because the targets were quite tricky to identify. It was the first time we've ever shot at this range, and having the throw lever on there just gives you a little bit more leverage when you're cranking on that zoom to quickly zoom out, find a target, zoom back in so you can see where you need to hold that sort of wind marks and engage your target successfully. So in hindsight, I should have just popped that on Friday before we actually went out to shoot the match. Now briefly, I'm going to do a deep dive, and let me know if I should do that super deep dive for us on the 5-25 versus the 3-18 so that you can make your decision. But for precision rifle, I will give you the answer, at least my perspective, at the end of this video, and then perhaps we'll do a separate video. And then we can always do a sort of super deep dive video comparing the two optics side by side. Now, I didn't find that this optic gave me any limitations. The only thing that could potentially be a deal breaker for you is the fact that this windage turret is in fact a cap turret. So there's a lock on there, and you can't adjust this without removing this cap. Now, why is that potentially a problem? If you wanted to be dialing in any of your wind when you're engaging a target, that could potentially be an issue. For me, I didn't find that I needed to do that this specific match. Usually the only time that I would actually dial in wind on an optic is when we're doing long range prone stuff, and I know I have got a good idea of what the wind is doing over the distance, or I want to make a super fine adjustment where potentially sometimes you're not holding exactly 0.7 or something like that. The other time when I would dial in wind is if I have a very wobbly prop and a small target, I want to have an exact call, and I want to use the center of my crosshair to quarter that target up nicely and engage that target with a precise wind hold. At this match, our targets were a little bit bigger, so I was able to just hold wind. And on some of the furthest targets, we were holding up to 1.5 mils of wind at like 590 meters. So a lot of wind even at 600 odd meters. Now, both of these also come with the zero stop. I do not worry about installing zero stops on my rifles. To give you an idea, if you had the zero stop in this, it would change the elevation from a total elevation of 45 mils, which is a freaking ton. Keep in mind that is up and down. Okay, so realistically on a 20 MI rail, you will have a little bit more on the upside. If you did install the zero stop, I think you have something like 19.4 mils. Now to put that into perspective, on a 6.5 Creedmoor, 19 mils, it's 1.3 kilometers. So even with the zero stop, you have plenty of elevation to get yourself out there. And obviously with the new modern Christmas tree reticles, there's even further elevation built into that reticle once you max out that dial. Now, when it comes to eye relief and field of view, first of all, let's chat about eye relief. Eye relief on an optic isn't as crucial as you think. Obviously, if it's a terrible eye relief, it's going to be a problem. But if you mount your optic correctly and you've set up your rifle correctly, every time you put your face on that gun, your eye relief should be absolutely perfect. Let me know if I should make a video for us on exactly how to do that. I'll have to double check if that video is allowed on YouTube's T's and C's, because YouTube T's and C's suck when it comes to what I can show you guys and can't show you. Then with regards to field of view, I didn't find any issues finding targets. Maybe once or twice just because the target was sort of, it had been completely blown, all the paint was off it, so it was this gray target amongst these gray bushes at 500 meters. So that could be a little bit challenging. But again, field of view is actually larger, if I'm not mistaken, than the 5-25 version. Now, when I do the complete deep dive for us, what I want to do, I'll rig up both of these next to each other, have them on the same magnification, pointed at the exact same piece of paper at 100 meters, and then we can visually show you guys what the difference is between the two. Now, to answer our question, now when it comes to precision rifle, the 3-18 is obviously plenty capable, as I've proven by shooting a match with it this weekend and being very, very competitive with it. What would I recommend you get? For the little bit of money extra, I would recommend you get the 5-25 version. Most people are going to find a little bit more use with a higher magnification optic, and this is specific to precision rifle. If you're looking for an optic for your AR or something like that, this scenario might change. But for precision rifle, most people will find that slightly bigger zoom a benefit when they're shooting long range prone, or they're getting a pinpoint zero just to make sure they see where their bullets are going through the paper. I had absolutely no problem seeing these tiny 6mm bullets going through the paper at 100 meters when zeroing this optic, but some people prefer that slightly higher magnification. Then the windage turret situation. On the 5-25 version, we have a locking windage turret, and on this version, we have a cap windage turret. Now, it's really cool on the 5-25 version. Once you've zeroed your rifle, you can actually loosen that turret and set it back to 0. And then you can dial in a specific wind value if you're engaging one target, for example, and you want to have that wind specifically set for that. On the 3-18, this is a little bit more difficult to do. It can absolutely be done, but it's just a little bit more difficult. So I find that a little bit more intuitive on that. So again, to reiterate, for the small price difference, 4,000 Rand in South Africa. This one is 18,999 Rand, and then this guy is 22,999 Rand. These are prices from my website, impactproshop.net. For the guys watching in South Africa, please support my business and not these massive, big sort of corporations. We give you the greatest advice. We make these videos for you guys to learn. So please, when you're shopping, please shop at our store, impactproshop.net. That really helps a hell of a lot for supporting the channel. So for the small price difference, and this will be roughly be about $200 odd in the US probably, or wherever you guys are, if we use US dollars as sort of our benchmark currency here, the $200 difference, I would suggest getting the higher one of the two. Now this is specific to a precision rifle environment. If you're shopping for an optic for your AR-15 or sort of for a bush hunting gun, but you want first focal plane with a similar reticle, I think this is where this is going to absolutely shine. I don't think a hell of a lot of people are going to use this as a precision rifle scope. I had an opportunity to test it at the weekend. Perhaps next, what we'll do is we'll chuck this on an AR and we'll see what we can do. Let me know if you guys want to see that video. Let's see if we can do some triple taps with my AR at 1,000 meters. That could be a hell of a fun video to do. Anyway, guys, with that being said, if you want to see some more precision rifle content, there'll be some videos linked over here. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel down there. And once again, thanks to Vortex and MDT for supplying these phenomenal pieces of gear for us to compete at a sort of more budget-friendly, playing field. XRS, super budget-friendly. 3-18, even the 5-25 Strike Eagles are very budget-friendly and highly competitive options that we didn't have when I started in this journey. So I really like that. With that being said, guys, love you long time. Make sure you're subscribed, all of the lovely things, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.